being fat is such a weird experience because it's like something that's completely specific to you, but it's also something that millions of people are experiencing every single day. And it's both of those things at the same time. Like, every single person has a different journey of how they ended up being this fat and what they've done to try and get away from it, or if they're even trying to get away from it at all. Some people have like an enjoyment of being this big, which I can't understand. I can't relate to at all. This is awful. This is a punishment. It feels like my body is a flesh prison, but I want to get out of it as quick as possible, and I make that effort to get out of it, but some people, they love to be in it. And also some people have like I was just talking to someone on Instagram about the different ways that people, like, the fat sticks to their body, right? Like, I have fairly normal limbs, but all my fat is focused right onto my torso and my double chin. And that's like, it's just this one, like, U-shaped thing of, like, gigantic fat, right? And then my limbs, my arms, fairly normal, right? I got a little bit of wing here on the bottom, but other than that, like, look at these completely normal people limbs, and you look at my calves, they're freaking built, and my thighs completely normal. Like, I've just got normal people legs, normal people arms, and then like my torso and double chin are gigantic. And I was thinking about those people. You see them on Tinder, you see them on different places where they talk about people being catfished and whatnot. They're catfishing with their own face. They zoom in real close and take a selfie, right? And they're the people who don't have double chins, right? They're gigantic like me, but they don't have the double chins because the fat doesn't stick to their double chin area. They just have normal people faces, and it's such a thing like that. You wanna, like, I almost want to make a trade, like, I want to be those people. Like, I would like give up my arms. Like, I would have fat arms in order to have like the sharp jawline again. Before I got fat, I was a pretty normal sized kid in school, and I had the sharpest jawline. Oh my god, like, you can kind of make out a bit of it if I like force myself, but like at one point it was so freaking sharp and I looked gorgeous. I looked absolutely beautiful. I was a handsome, handsome guy. And now that's gone because I got so fat. I lost my jawline. And the jawline is something that a lot of people pay attention to. And it's something like I wouldn't use it to catfish. I don't think I would. I don't know what I would be in that universe. I don't know what decisions I would make, but it would be, I don't know, fun to get the compliments. I would post a lot more selfies on Instagram, I feel like. But yeah, it just sticks to different people in different ways. You can see the people on like My 600 Pound Life, they get so fat, but then a lot of their fat focuses onto their legs. And when it gets onto the legs like that, you get all sorts of abscesses and all sorts of, diseases related to that, the inability to move, the inability to clean yourself, the inability to fit into a shower, and having fat legs is something that's completely awful, something I don't have, because I have the skinny people legs, right? I have like average sized legs. I'm not the gigantic leg guy, so I can still fit in an average sized shower. I can still clean myself in all the ways that I need to. I can still, walk far, something with having the big legs like that. Your mobility is so limited that it's like you're carrying around all that extra weight in your legs, and it's just like very, very difficult to even be as active as I am. I'm right now at this point, I've worked for it, but I can run 45 minutes on the elliptical, and that's something that's very impressive for a guy of my weight. But that's because I had the legs that were open enough that I could run on the elliptical in the beginning for 15 minutes. Like, I started out being able to run for 15 minutes, then I slowly built up over time the ability to run for 45 minutes. And if I didn't have that ability, like if I had the gigantic legs, I wouldn't I wouldn't have been able to get that. I feel like it would have been a lot more of a challenge, because if you can't move and you're having the chafing and the infections and all that, you're not going to want to do it, and you're going to be a little bit ashamed because there might be a little bit of a, I don't know, a smell that comes with that, I feel like. But that's an embarrassing thing, and that's why I wouldn't trade I wouldn't trade my legs for the double chin to go away. I would never ever give away my skinny people legs. That is not even in the question. Like, that is something I am extremely grateful for. And you have to be empathetic with people who have the gigantic legs. That's a hard thing to go through, because not only are you trapped in the big body, like I said earlier in the video, I feel like I'm trapped in my body because I'm so heavy and so limited and so, I don't know, tired pretty much all the time. And to be like as tired as I am now, but also your legs are huge and your mobility is so limited, like, I can only imagine like being the feeling of being trapped like in your bed. Like, these people that you see with the big legs, they're stuck in their bed because they can't move very much, so they lay in their bed 8, maybe 12 hours a day just watching TV and consuming donuts and pizza and whatever people bring them, because they can't get up, they can't go out and make their own food. They're trying, like, I can get up, I can make the right decisions, I can make those choices for myself, and I can do those things. I'm the one who is in control of my own diet. But these people with the big legs, they can't move. They got to rely on other people to make their decisions, and that's a terrifying notion to me. Having like, I've always been a little bit scared of having someone else in control of me. Like, I've never felt right when somebody else was calling the shots. Not in a management sort of way. I'm fine with like managers or principals or teachers. I was always very well behaved in that way. But like, when somebody else is wielding absolute control over me, like anytime I was around a police officer, or someone who could shoot me dead in a moment, anyone like that, that always freaked me out. Like, that was always a terrifying thing. Like, anyone who, like, if I disobeyed, there would be like big consequences. That makes me nervous. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being fat and being trapped in your body. But like, you see, when you're trapped in that severe big leg obesity, they're the one making all the decisions, and I just couldn't do that. I feel like I'd be stuck in that bed. I saw these workouts you can do while laying in bed on this Japanese page for like workouts and fitness. It's like a workout you can do while laying in bed that just strengthens up your legs. And I feel like if I was in that sort of a mess where my legs were so fat, I would be constantly just trying my best to build that leg muscle, shrink down that fat. I know you can't like specifically target a place to lose fat on. Like, I've heard that that's not a real thing that you can do, but I feel like that would be, everything I was trying to do, trying to regain my mobility. I'm claustrophobic, right? Like, I'm very, very claustrophobic. If you lock me in a room, like, I'm gonna be trying to get out the whole time. I cannot be locked in a place. One time, my boys, like my friends and I, we were playing around, wrestling, roughhousing, and then one guy shouts, "Doggy pile on Brent," and then he jumps on me, and then another guy jumped on top of him, and then there was about 6 guys on top of me, and I was having such a fear response that I was able to lift up, like, I don't know, I think it was 4, maybe 5 guys, and then just throw them off of me, and then wiggle my way out. It was scary. It was scary. I cannot do tight spaces, and the ultimate, like, obesity is like the ultimate tight space, because it is a trapped environment that you need to spend months and months escaping. Like, even with diving, when you're diving, there's a claustrophobia thing that comes with that, because if you're like down there and a school of jellyfish comes by or something, and they're about to sting the crap out of you, you gotta go up just a little bit, like 2 feet at a time, so you don't get the bends. Because if you immediately go up, then all the carbon dioxide in your body, it's gonna decompress, and then that instantly, well, not instantly, it gives you like a bad sickness that takes days to kill you. But that's a very claustrophobic thing. Imagine, being deep under the water and your mobility is limited and you cannot get fresh air and you got to spend all that time getting up. But that's months and months and months. That's obesity. That's being trapped in obesity, because you could spend a year, maybe 2, just scrambling and crying and trying everything you had. But like, especially if you don't have the information, like, there's so much knowledge and science out there that you need in order to lose this fat, in order to gain back this sort of gain back your mobility and escape this trap you're stuck in. But if you're limited like that, you may not have the information. If you're limited like that, you may not have the ability. And it's also an addiction, right? Like most addictions, right? You're not limited in your mobility. In fact, most of them are very skinny and very wily. But with obesity, you're addicted to the food. You just keep putting it in your mouth, and you don't have the cognizance, to release yourself from that. You don't have the just like ability to escape your patterns. A lot of the time you don't even realize you're doing it. It took me a while to clue in that I was getting so big. I don't think I really realized I was mega fat until I was well into the 500s. I mean, I really already screwed myself over. Like, I had been told I was fat all my life. My mom was a big dietary person. She had always been trying to lose weight, and my friends were brutal. You know how boys are. We tease each other. And I was the fattest guy in the group, so they were always like, "Hey, Lardo, hey, you want a donut? You want a pizza? Oh, where's your chocolate?" It's like, dude, but still, I wasn't that fat. I was a chubby guy. I was certainly large, but I wasn't to the degree that I am now, or even to the degree that I was at my biggest. Like that was an insane degree. But you see, I didn't notice a difference because I had always been told I was fat. It just wasn't different the way people were treating me. In fact, I think they were treating me nicer when I was at my biggest because they were like, "Oh, this is a serious thing now. We shouldn't make jokes about this because he might actually die from this." And I think there's a certain pity that comes along with that makes people treat you nicer. So as they soften the blows, you also don't notice that you're getting fat until you are so severely limited that one day you just like weigh yourself, or you do something that is so limited or so difficult that you realize you have this snapping moment where it's like claustrophobic, and you like actually try to rip the fat off your body. That's what I did when I realized I was so fat. I woke up, like, I felt like I was waking up from a coma, and I was like 7 billion pounds, and I was just like trying to rip it off, like, oh my god, I'm so claustrophobic, trapped in my body. And that was a scary thing. I had that moment twice in my life. After I graduated high school, I graduated at around like 250 pounds, and that's pretty average size for a 6'4" guy. But then as time went on, I eventually went up, and about a year after I graduated, I was 300 pounds. I stepped on the scale for the first time in quite a while, and I found that I was 300 pounds, and I was so terrified of that. I was like, I can't be 300 pounds. I wasn't even comfortable with myself at 240. I'm awful. And then I like literally again tried to rip the fat off my body, and I went so insane. Like I had a good job at the time, luckily, so I was able to hire myself a personal trainer, and I stuck with her for quite a while, and I lost so much weight. I was doing so good. I got down to 220 pounds. My jawline was immaculate, and I was getting compliments from everyone, and I was super happy, and it was a super great time. And then I got into restaurant work, and I started to get fat from that. You get a free meal every day, and you get a discount at the gas station, and so you do a little bit of snacking. And also, I fell into kind of the wrong crowd, started drinking and stuff, and then there was a lot of calories in the snacks and the meals and the drinking and all that, and it was a brutal scene. But it really didn't get brutal until I had the emotional issues, with my mother dying and all the hard stuff that was going on in my life. There was a ton of it. I don't want to bog you guys down with how much negative stuff was happening at that time, because most of it's over. My mother's still dead, but yeah, I ended up getting hugely fat in a matter of like 7 months. Like, seriously, you can look on my Instagram, the old posts, like from like I was around like 300, 350, and then in like 7 months I went, like, you can see my jawline was fairly normal in one picture that was in like November of 2017, and then like between November of 2017 and June of 2018, I think it is, you can see that I got way, way fatter. And that was something that hit hard. That was something that was like a wreckage. I don't know. It was I was just so big, and you didn't notice it until, one day you go to do a 10-minute walk with someone to see an attraction, and you have to take multiple breaks on this 10-minute walk. Like, I had to lean against a tree, sit on a bench, and then when we got to the attraction, it took me a while to go down because I had to sit on the bench and rest. And there was like a big staircase that went down, and I was like, I'm not doing those stairs. Then eventually I worked up the courage to go down, and then it took me quite a while to get back up the stairs when we were done seeing the attraction. And that was embarrassing and it was difficult. And then I got home and I was like, yeah, I'm a mess. I'm scared. I need to do something. And that, there's like awakening moments, where you realize how bad you screwed yourself up and you need to do it. And then after that, I again made the decision that I need to start losing weight again. And yeah, a thousand. I lost 140 pounds in 7 months after that. And then from there, after that, I ended up gaining a lot of the weight back. And then I just decided I wanted to do weight loss again. I didn't have another awakening moment. I just wanted to continue to do it. I just was like, hey, yeah, I need to actually do this. So, yeah, everybody has a different journey, and that was mine.